Okay, now we've finished with that bloody Sherlock. Let's see if we can't get this done for Sally. Hello, I'm Landis, and welcome back to Purrfect Date. Recon it is. Yes, we need to focus on finding an antidote. I've been devoting all the time I can spare to working on an antidote for the cantification process. Although it's not an entire failure, progress is slow, and I'm concerned that I may be running out of time. It's time I did some more tests on myself to record how the virus is progressing in me, and what effects it's having on my body. That should give me some idea of how much time I have left, before it becomes too difficult to hide the problem from other people. I'm sneaking around in the middle of the night because I can't risk getting found out by Professor Pauper, or the Marigolds. The only person likely to check up on what I'm doing at this hour is Zane, the security guard, and I'm confident he won't have a clue what any of this stuff means. I start by taking my own blood. Never an easy thing. We're trying to find a vein when you're also trying not to look. It's very tricky indeed. I take several missed stabs before I get it right, and I take as much as I dare without making myself feel woozy. I take saliva swabs from the inside of my mouth, inside my nostrils, in my ears, and finally from my groin area. I seal each swab in its tube and label them 007. Corny, I know, but it makes me smile. I'm also pretty certain no one will pay much attention to the numbers. Everything is numbered around here, so you tend to go blind to any number that isn't the particular one you're looking for. Next, I tweeze out individual hairs from my head, eyebrows, arms, legs, and groin. Finally, I take clippings from my finger and toenails. Some I prepare into slides, some I put into test tubes for testing reactivity to various agents. I'm quite sleepy by the time I've prepared all my specimens. I'm starting to think maybe I should freeze this lot and call it a night, when I hear something moving around outside. I'm going to poke my head out, but it's too dark to see anything. Hello? Nothing. Is somebody there? Do you want something? This place can be very creepy sometimes. The little diversion has made me feel much more alert. With my second wind, I decide to press on with my testing. I work steadily for the next hour and a half before I can draw any conclusions. The short-term test results indicate that not much has changed from the last time I did this. Clearly I'm not progressing very fast, which is a big relief. However, I can see some marked changes from before. Mostly the base of the rate of cell growth and movement within the nail clippings and hair samples. Everything is growing more quickly. I'm a little disappointed not to have seen anything more informative, but I remind myself to be careful what I wish for. I place the long-term test at the back of the specimen fridge, and we'll check up on them in 24 hours. There's not much else I can do now. I clear away all the equipment I have used and leave the place in exactly the condition I found it. Even Miss Marigold won't suspect I've been here. I'm just heading to my tent when I hear a noise coming from behind me, from inside the lab. I walk back and call from outside. Who's in there? Silence. I have security with me. I hear how ridiculous that sounds and curse myself for being idiotic. I walk into the lab, put the main light on, and I'm starting to see the tests I put in the fridge out on the lab table. I have no idea what to do. I just put them back in the fridge, but this time I use the padlock on the fridge door. Nobody ever bothers with it. I've often wondered why it's even there. I don't want someone getting at my blood samples. I'm too freaked out to think straight now. I need to go to bed. I turn towards my tent, and there is a huge dark outline of a man in my path. It's Zane. Evening? Evening. Working? Yep. Doing security? Yep. Good night then. Good night. As he turns to walk away, I catch him say, almost, in a whisper, "There's the monthly stock take of the fridge tomorrow morning." I turn to ask what he means, but he's already gone. I realize I've been given a helping hand. So I go back to the fridge and get my samples. I'll take them to my tent and see if I can grab some ice from the mess kitchen on my way. Ooh, Zane's up to something. Yay! Saving. Boom. Next we come. God, we're not even 47%. What do we get after this? We don't get anything, do we? 'Cause it's a gift from Kibbles or McMurphy. 9. Today the marigolds are clearing out the lab's inventory. I should probably be there too. I might find something useful. A cure would be nice. I know my morning alarm is ringing, but I can barely lift my eyelids. I'm not sure if I'm looking forward to today or dreading it. I promised to go in 2 hours early to help with the monthly inventory and deep cleanse of the lab. It's not the work I'm anxious about, but the fact that I'm doing it with the marigolds. They're an odd pair. They certainly don't say much, and I quite often feel that they're judging me. Oh well, the sooner I get there, the sooner it will be over. That's not how time works. As I approach the lab, I can hear their voices raised, in stage-type whispers. They're obviously having a row that they don't want anyone else to hear. I loiter around for a few minutes to see if I can pick up any tidbits that would be helpful. I'm not nosy, just curious. It's a cat, Mason, okay? A cat. All it cares about is sleeping and eating. It's still a living thing, Moira. A living thing? It's glorified vermin, is what it is. You're putting us at risk. He isn't the sort of person to mess with. Mason, loyalty to the company is the #1 priority in their eyes. I've been loyal. It's my allegiance that's changing, not my loyalty. Do you know how ridiculous you sound? Allegiance to who? A bunch of cats? Moira, you know they're not just cats. You knew when we signed our contracts. Not fully. It's different anyway. In real life, living with them, knowing them. Knowing them? You know what I mean. I know if you mess this up, we'll be destitute at best. I feel I can't put this off any longer. Oh, wait. I've just had a thought. What if, when we're getting shot, we're not getting shot, we're getting tranquilized, and that's our asses in the cages. Good morning. Ah, you're here. I'm not late, am I? Not at all. We were just discussing how to proceed. They exchanged glances. You two can get on with the stock check. Leave the sanitation to me. Sounds good to me. Where do we begin, Mr. Marigold? Call me Mason. I have the list here, so I'll call the item, and you tell me how many we have. Okay, Mason. And if I'm in your way, just let me know. Mrs.? Miss Marigold, yes. I'll be sure to. But if we each mind our own business, well, I'm sure it will all work out fine, dear. Tension in the air is tangible. This could be a very long 2 hours. We start with the top shelf of the large metal cabinet. Standard test tubes, 20 boxes. Petri dishes, 10 boxes, mixed sizes. Beakers, large, 25. Beakers, medium, 20. Only 20, that's a bit low. If we had more breakages than usual. I decided not to tell him that I sometimes use them as tea mugs, and there are at least 3 in my tent growing mould as we speak. Yes, we've all been a bit clumsy lately. I know one was knocked off the counter by McMurphy this week. Nothing but trouble, those cats. Mr. Marigold continued with the stocktake, so he didn't hear his wife. We move on to the next shelf, and the next, until we've almost finished the entire inventory. We are coming to the end of the drugs cabinet. Good, because I didn't want to sit there and do a whole bloody stocktake. Also, peanuts. Ketamine, 50 milliliters. 8 bottles. That can't be right. It says here that we normally stock 30. Let's see for yourself. 2, 4, 6, 8. Do we use a lot of that then? No, on the contrary, it's mostly used just for anesthetizing. We rarely do that kind of surgery. Well, that's a mystery. I wonder what it could be being used for. You two will be a lot quicker if you stick to your counting and leave the wondering up to the professor. We finished the rest of the job without any unnecessary chat. We all seem to be deep in our own thoughts. Mine are all about where the amount of ketamine might be disappearing to. For what purpose? Suddenly I don't feel too good. Ooh. There's drugs about. Boom. Recon done. Research it is. Do we go back and do the one which we got fired for? Or not? Yep, let's help the caretakers again. Why not? It's about time we got to learn about those characters. I'm writing my journal. I developed a habit of getting up early and writing for 30 minutes each morning before I begin my day. Good, so in chapter 5 we'll know more of the story. I'm often so tired at the end of the day that I just want to fall into bed, and my journal gets neglected. Also, I like the way it grounds me before this strange island sucks me into the adventure of a new day. This morning my concentration is being broken by a very odd noise, and I suddenly realise it's the sound of someone trying to knock on my tent flap. Hello? Excuse me. Sorry to interrupt. I recognise the voices belong to Mr. Marigold, the island's caretaker. Oh, good morning, Mr. Marigold. I spring up to greet him. Can I help you? I would invite you in, but I indicate the chaos of my tiny tent. Barely room to swing a cat, I know. I laugh at his joke, but notice his deadpan expression and realise he's serious. I quickly move on, stepping outside. Is there something I can help you with? I hope so. And that would be... Miss Marigold is taken to her bed. Proper 6 years. So the boss said I should ask you to fill in for her today. Is that alright? I know the professor well enough by now to understand that I don't actually have a choice. I'm filling in for Miss Marigold today, whether it's alright with me or not. Actually, I'm quite intrigued. Great! I mean, I'm sorry to hear you eyes poorly. Nothing serious, I hope. But I'm happy to spend some time with you, Mr. Marigold. Well, best make an early start then. You get your shoes on, and I'll meet you at the jetty. And before I can say another word, he disappeared off towards the water. I quickly put my journal back in its hidey hole, and grabbed my backpack, with the field kit in it, before stuffing my feet into my trainers. When I arrive at the jetty, I can see that Mr. Marigold has already started work mending the wooden rail where a couple of posts were damaged in a recent storm. How can I help? Just pass me those pins. As I go along, I need to reinforce this, and then recoat it with preservative. I'm a bit disappointed. Just so you know, I can use a hammer too. If you have a spare, we could get this mended much quicker with two of us working on it. There's no rush. Oh no, I suppose not. You're here with me for the whole day, anyway. Oh, I didn't mean that. Actually, I'm pleased for the opportunity to break out a bit. Try something different. Bored of this place already? He squints sideways at me. No, not at all. There's so much going on here. I haven't even begun to uncover half what the island has to offer. I'm sure I just meant it's nice to have the chance to get to know someone new. Company is in short supply here. Human company. He mumbles it half under his breath, so I'm not even certain he said it. I beg your pardon? Seem to be getting on with the cats though, eh? Oh yes, I'm spoiled for choice with feline friends. Be careful with that. I stop and look at him. He holds my gaze. What do you mean? Be careful with those pins. You're going to have them over the edge in a minute. I look down and see that I'm not paying attention. I've kicked the box perilously close to the edge of the jetty. Closer to the edge than you thought. Get the feeling we're not just talking about the box of nails. Yeah, I wasn't paying attention. Looking in the wrong direction, that's when we miss the things right under our nose. That could cause problems. Mr. Marigold? We've stopped what we were doing, and are standing up now, looking directly into each other's eyes. Do you know something I ought to know? Such as? Well, obviously I don't know. I know you're an inquisitive little blighter. Have you been watching me, Mr. Marigold? Keeping an eye might be a more accurate way of putting it. Well, thank you, I think. You're welcome, but I wouldn't be so quick to trust people if I were you. You don't know me or my intentions. And suddenly he lets out a roar of laughter and gets back to work. I have a feeling you're one of the good guys, Mr. Marigold. Call me Mason. I hand him pins, and we say no more. But as I go over our conversation in my head, I realise I've heard those words before, or something very like them. The nameless message on my catalogue. Be careful who you trust. And it hits me. Mr. Marigold is my messenger. Ooh. Interesting. Interesting indeed. I don't want a trippy dream. Didn't get a trippy dream. Sweet. Magic of restoration. With the disco cat. More research. Number 2. Today it's off to the beach to tag some cats. Didn't we already do this one? Here, kitty kitty. I'm out on a tag and scan rotation. The sun is beginning to set and the beach is cooler. This is hunting time, so in theory, more cats will be drawn out from their hidey holes. The other time for tagging is midday, when they're at their laziest, but I find the heat too intense to come to this part of the island at that time. Something catches my eye and leads me into the forest. Oh, here, kitty. Just me. Oh, hi, Kibbles. How's it going? Define it. Oh, what's that thing? Kibbles is already eyeing my chipping pen. Looks like a weapon. Is it a weapon? No. Well, kind of. Do you want me to show you how it works? Kibbles gives me an exasperated look. How dumb do you think I am, human? Look, you're doing me a huge favour if you just let me use this thing on you. Oh yeah? Yes, I don't think I can actually tag you twice, and I need all the practice I can get. Well then, catch me if you can. Little shit. I hear a nyah echo through the forest as Kibbles seems to disappear before my very eyes. Impressive. How did you do that, Kibbles? Come back. I won't shoot you, okay? I'll even let you have a go if you can show me how you disappeared so fast. He won't come back now. The new voice startles me. He's like the Scarlet Pimpernel. I turn to see a mid-sized brown-haired cat scratching at the trunk of a tree. Oh, hello. I don't think we've met before. My name's... I know who you are, Turntail. The island is buzzing with news about you. Turntail? What does that mean? I realise I'm going to have to scan her. Oh, her, and I've given her a man's voice. We shall have to fix that. Kibbles leaps from nowhere and pins the new cat to the floor. Shoot her! Sorry. This won't hurt. It's for your own good. So we can make sure you stay safe and healthy, and seize my opportunity and move fast. I've already grabbed the scruff of her neck, and before I finish speaking, I've pressed the pen between her shoulder blades and released the microchip. There, all done. Wasn't so bad, was it? Wow, awesome. Can I shoot the next one? I doubt that, Kibbles. I wiggle my thumb in his direction. Aw, man. I gotta get me one of those. Can I get up now? I have things to do. Kibbles. He remains pinned to the other cats. I reach for the spray bottle in my pocket, and he leaps away with a laugh. Off you go then, to do your other things. Anything I can help you with? No, just duties. Duties. Might get everything done. Okay. I'm going to have to enter data for you in this catalogue. How about we call you B? B? Because you're so busy. Busy bee. Look, B. It would be good if I could get you to come to the camp to check you over and make a note of your details. If you want to drop by when you're free, that would be great. Otherwise, I'll have to come back with a cat carrier. Not so great. Oh, I'll come by. I know the place. The cat slinks off. Do you know her, Kibbs? Kibbles emerges from his hiding place in a tree. Yeah, I know her. Is she okay? She seems a bit unhappy. Oh, she's fine. She's just like you is all. Like me? What do you mean? You're the scientist. You work it out. Kibbles vanishes again. Ooh, is that one of the previous researchers? Is that Chungus? But Chungus wasn't brunette. Was she? No, she wasn't. No, we have more to do. Yeah, I need to romance a cat. Because our romance is the way forward. I did not mean to rest. That was a mistake. A romance. No, we might as well stick with Kibbles, and we now know that the blank one is, in fact, Ravenpaw. Boom, I'm coming for you, Kibbles. I'm out in the forest looking for some shade and a place where I won't be disturbed. I need to be relaxed when I finally read the precarious contents of the envelope I'm carrying. It feels like I've waited an age for this moment. Eventually, I find a clearing with a moss-covered tree stump that looks comfortable enough. I have a quick check around to satisfy that I am alone before I take a seat. I slowly unpeel the flap of the brown wrapper and pull it out. My issue of Kanishi Boy. It's such a treat to get some quiet manga reading time to myself. Okay, I have no idea if I said that right. I'm just starting to get into it when I hear a rustling sound coming from the nearby bushes. It's not the sort of sound the wind makes when it ruffles the leaves. It's more deliberate than that. I look over towards the bush, and the noise stops abruptly. Almost as soon as I can resume reading, it starts again. I try to ignore it and continue with my comic, but it's very intrusive. I feel like I'm being watched. Who's there? The rustling gets louder. Hello? I inch my way towards the source of the sound, nervously holding my breath. I reach out my arm to pull aside the branches, when something bursts out of the bush and knocks me sideways. Kibbles, what on earth are you doing? Why are you spying on me? Picked himself up from the ground, desperately trying to style it out.
No, you're here. I hadn't noticed. I was just looking for something.
In a bush?
Yeah, I left my...
Kibbles looks around frantically for something. He locks eyes on an unremarkable looking flat pebble and picks it up triumphantly.
My pebble. I left my pebble in this bush. Found it now.
Good. I'd hate to think what would happen if you lost that.
Yeah, anyway. What are you doing?
Reading? I hold up the comic book, emphasizing the obvious.
Yeah, tell so.
You're very observant, Kibbles.
So, is that Kanishi Boy?
What? I'm taken aback. Yes, actually it is. Do you know it? And more to the point, how do you know it? Also, whoever wrote this story loves using the phrase, I'm taken aback. It's not something I have heard that often outside of this.
Yeah, looks like issue 8.
That's right. Now I'm impressed as well as amazed. Kibbles, how on earth do you know? Questions are flooding in my brain, but I know I need to play this cool. I don't want him shutting me out.
That's an old issue.
He looks like he has no intention of answering my questions, so I try a different tack. I'm a little behind, so I brought a couple of back issues with me to bring me up to date.
So which version are you reading?
Version? I'm not sure.
It's probably the inferior American translation. You really have to get the original Japanese or the European versions to get all of the nuance.
Oh, one of these pricks.
Oh? It's impossible to truly understand the depth of Fumiyoshi and Hara's relationship in the version you've got.
I really hope this isn't a real thing, because it's highly likely I'm butchering the crap out of these names. You're a proper fan, then.
Could say that, I guess.
I'd love to pick your brains sometime.
What do you want to know?
Does the original version explain how they're able to enter the third chamber together when Christo gets turned into a hog?
Oh yeah, it's because she tried to pass through the gate without Iyasu's approval.
Alright, that would make sense.
That bit was cut for some reason. The American version they're selling these days is plebeian trash.
Well, I like it.
Any serious Kanishi Boy fan would chuck down the European translation.
I'm not sure, but I don't think I'd be able to get those delivered here. I guess I'll have to make do with the American trash version.
I'd rather read something else than read the inferior rag.
Fair enough, but I'm still enjoying this. I start to go back to reading my trash, but Kibble suddenly springs forward, grabs the comic from my hands and runs off into the undergrowth. Hey, Kibbles, bring that back. But he's gone. I wait for a while, not quite believing what he just did. After a few minutes I lose hope that he will return and start packing away my things to head back to the camp. Just as I start walking away, Kibbles comes crashing back through the bush. Oh, there you are. What was all that about?
I got you something.
That's when I noticed he's holding a copy of Kanashi Boy issue 8. It's not my copy. This one is in a pristine plastic cover. It looks new.
Yeah, it's my copy.
The European translation?
Original Japanese, actually.
Wow, but how do you understand it? Don't tell me you speak Japanese.
Sam, look, I made my own translation.
There are pieces of paper tucked in between the pages with scrawled writing on them. How did you manage that?
Yeah, one of these ones before you, she helped me translate it.
One of these ones before me? What does that mean? A previous assistant?
Want to read this or not?
I'm far more interested in what he's just said. You said helps. Kibbles is looking at the cover of Kanishi Boy, but I sense he's pretending to be preoccupied. He's clearly said more than he intended to, and now he's distancing himself from it. That would suggest they're still here.
Where does this circle end?
Huh? I'm annoyed that he's obviously trying to change the subject.
It's a simple question, human.
I'm worried that if I push him too far, he'll disappear into the bushes, so I decide to play along. For now. Where does the circle end? He's watching me intently, and I get the feeling this is some kind of test. The circle ends where it began, probably. Kibbs looks delighted.
Oh, cool. You read it.
Read what?
Sakura.
I'm sorry, I don't know that one.
But you gave the right answer.
I have no idea what you're talking about.
Sakura by Hayashi Katsuki. You haven't read it?
It's really hard to say those names and doing an accent at the same time. I apologize if you're a real person. Afraid not. Is it good?
Only the best in its genre.
Which is?
Goro, naturally.
Fuck is Goro? Oh, and Goro means?
Gore, of course.
Okay, of course. I wasn't aware that gore was a whole genre. Me neither. I realise that I'm a bit out of my depth here.
I can lend it to you. I have a copy here.
Kibbles looks like he's about to dive back into the bushes. Woo! Hang on a minute. That sounds really interesting, but I'm in the middle of Kanishi Boy.
So, ditch that and start this. You won't regret it.
Son of a bitch. I don't know. Well, as far as I can tell, this one's about love and this one's about stabbing people, so let's go with this one. Well, I couldn't start another series before I finish the one I'm reading. Kibbles looks at me as if I've turned into an alien.
What? You mean you don't read more than one series at a time?
Of course not. Who does that?
Everybody?
But how would I keep up with both of them?
You just would. Gore and fantasy. They complement each other, like popcorn.
Sorry?
You know, salty and sweet.
Yes, but you don't eat the salty and the sweet at the same time, do you? You only eat one or the other, right? Well, actually, you can buy packets of popcorn that come with both salty and sweet inside them at the same time.
You mean you don't mix your popcorn?
Oh no, of course not. How could someone do that?
Are you kidding me? That's insane. What about yours? Do you eat each thing separately?
Well, I suppose I don't really like things on my plate touching or mixing, but...
Oh my god, what's wrong with you? You're so weird.
Now, Kibbles, there's no need for name calling.
I mean it, you're totally normie, and it's really freaking me out.
I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I'm a scientist, and I like things to be straightforward. Logical lines work best for me. I leave the chaos to you, more spontaneous types.
Keep your hair on, Spock. I'm not insulting you. I'm just surprised you're not more adventurous considering your reading tastes.
I would love to read Sakura. Just...
don't do it. I won't start you on the pleasures of the circle yet. finish reading your copy of KB first.
Not the original Japanese version?
Wouldn't want you getting freaked out by changing translation.
I think I could manage that. My pride is a bit bruised.
Go on then, if you think you're up to it.
He goes to hand over the plastic folder but pauses when I put my hand on it. We each hold a corner. He doesn't want to let go. Are you sure you don't mind lending it to me?
I'm sure, but you have to look after it. It's in mint condition.
It seems like a lot of responsibility.
It is a lot of responsibility.
I start to laugh but quickly realise this is no joke. Kibbles looks me squarely in the eye so that I feel compelled to respond. Oh, thank you, Kibbles. I will look after it very responsibly. That's something I do very well. Take care of my things.
I'm trusting you. If you let me down, I will come for you.
Well, this didn't go as well as I had hoped, but at least he trusts me with something so important to him. If I let you down, I will expect you. Kibble seems satisfied. He nods and slowly backs away into the forest. Eyes still locked on mine. I sit back down to start reading the comic. I can't quite shake the feeling that I'm still being watched. I don't think that went well. If you enjoyed this episode, then tickle the like button, perhaps subscribe, and check out the rest of the channel. And why not join us on the Facebook, Twitter, Discord, and Patreon. Links are in the description. And rolling for the credits right now. I've been Landis. This has been Purrfect Date. Thank you very much, and see you soon.